A lot of things about being trans that are really confusing, but it's not what you might think. Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for another very important video. And today I wanted to talk about some things that are confusing things about being trans. I know that there's this sort of image that people have about gender, about LGBT gender, and there's a stereotype that the trans person or the queer person or the LGBT person is the one who's confused. They're confused about your gender. I'm confused. Stereotype is something like, oh, I'm gay and I'm confused about my gender and I don't know what the fuck I am and I don't know anything and I'm just confused and bewildered about the world and myself and I'm helpless. I want to be held. I want to be comforted. Okay, well, part of this is reality. There's a kernel of truth because it is confusing, but the things that make it confusing don't have anything to do with the actual person that's confused. Let me give you an example. I was confused when I was young because I told people that I would rather have been born a girl and that if it were possible for me to become a girl, then I would do that. So there's a story that I have to tell about my childhood and there were a lot of signs that I was trans or that I was queer when I was a childhood, but my parents didn't see any of them and didn't really notice them. And so when I came out as trans, they were the ones who were confused. And it's like, look, I know that not everyone knows everything or is going to be prepared for everything, but if your child is coming out and saying, man, I really think that it would, if it were possible for me to have been born as a girl, and if there were a possibility of me changing, then I would probably want to investigate such a possibility. But my point is that I wasn't confused beyond a certain point. I was confused at why people thought that was weird. I was confused at why people thought it was weird when I started painting my nails. So it's like there's these things that are confusing. They're confusing because they inherently don't make any sense. And then I'm the one, or we're the ones who are gaslit into thinking that we're the ones who are confused. We are not confused. And trans people may go through a period of discovery, a period of confusion. But what I have found in my personal experiences, and I've met a lot of gay people and queer people and trans people and all types of straight people as well. And my experience is that once you figure out who you are, you kind of just know. And while everyone changes and goes through changes, there are parts of your identity that stay remarkably consistent over your life. And your gender, your presentation, that's one of those things. Did I thank you guys for clicking and watching this very important video yet? Thank you. Every topic works me up. I wanted to do something to fight against this sort of idea of this terminally confused queer person who is helpless. Because, queer people are the most talented and capable people that I know. So this stereotype doesn't make any sense. And it is yet another thing that I think is confusing about being trans, about being gay, because this is where it all comes down to it, okay? Where it all boils down to is that I'm not confused. And then I don't think queer people and gay people are confused either. But there are other people who are confused. Why is everyone so why is there this sort of persistent stereotype vision? Queer, trans, LGBT people, I need to stop saying rainbow letters. They're the most talented, capable people that I know. We've survived more. We've been through more. We've had to be more. So that there's this stereotype of us being confused and helpless everywhere. The forces working against trans people and against LGBT people living happily want us to feel confused. And they want us to feel helpless because it affirms their worldview. So I really don't like that stereotype. I don't like how many people play into it. And not that I blame anyone, because I mean, everyone is just trying to get by doing what they do to feel comfortable. I would never blame a person for feeling confused. But I blame the system for making you feel that way. And I blame other people who shouldn't be confused because they should have learned and they don't. I really wish that the world would know and have a collective vision of trans, gay, letter, rainbow, blah people that I do, because I know them as better and more aware and more conscientious than people who aren't and haven't had to go through everything that we have to go through just to survive. It's not that we're inherently better. It's that there's the selection pressure and the selection bias that isn't on other people. But that's part of what makes the whole projection of confusion onto gay people so annoying to me, because it's opposite of the truth. And it's like bizarro world when up is down and down is up. That's feels like the world we live in. So yes, it is confusing. It's confusing to live in a world that hates you for no reason. That's where we live, though. Wow, okay. I feel like I got a lot off my chest today. And I wanted to show you guys, I got a new dress. Hello. For everyone who loves calling me red, you can have another excuse to do that. You know, myself personally, I went through a very short period of confusion where I realized that I was going to do things and change my body and change who I was. But I was not ready to take a label, and I wasn't ready to define myself in a consistent kind of way because I didn't have education. I didn't have words. So when I learned the names for what was happening to me and to other people, I realized who I was, and I wasn't confused anymore about that. And it wasn't a very long period. It wasn't a long part of my life. It happens. The people do get confused about gender, and that's valid. But what I am talking about here in this video is just this sort of perpetuating and sort of depersoning that's been happening on all sorts of levels. And this bit about being confused is one that I have heard a lot from people. So I wanted to put this video out there. Thank you for watching this very important video. And I hope you watch the next video too, before. So were you ever confused about your identity? How did you figure that out? Do you agree with me that confusion is sort of this harmful, perpetuated stereotype at this point, or am I just completely off base? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you guys. This is a dream. Thank you.